at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. and it looks like there's a protest for Father's Day. So we're going to go check it out, see what it is. It looks like there's some gentlemen out there with some signs protesting in support of father's rights and or the lack thereof. So anyways, let's go check it out. Come on.
I came to this battle with some resources, some financial backing of my own doing. I was fairly successful, but you know what? The typical dad doesn't have that kind of income. When he's making minimum wage, he cannot fight for his child. This is not about families. This is all a monetary issue. And you know, I don't consider myself naive, but I've been naive over these years, and I'm thinking and nor am I a conspiracy theorist, but I'm believing, you know, although it felt like a personal conspiracy against me, I'm believing there's a larger conspiracy going on, and I've got a couple dads right here nodding their heads in agreement with me. This underlying thumbs up, yes sir. There's an underlying motivation here on why
for over 20 years. She is a former enforcement officer and investigator for the 37th Circuit Family Court System in Michigan.
Wow.
Ms. Rhodes has a behavioral psychology degree from Western Michigan University and she's written about the court Enemy of the Family, exposing the inequities and corruption of a bureaucracy that is based on money and not the best interest of the children and families. It's a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you Ms. Carol Rhodes.
Yeah! Thank you. My purpose today is not to dazzle you with my oratorical brilliance and skills. I merely want to say that I came to the 37th Circuit Family Court to make a difference. I was well qualified and hoped to be able to help Michigan families of divorce and separation, but early on I realized that the system was not designed for honest conciliation were ever allowed in the family justice system between caseworkers and clients. It was all about money. How to get the federal and state tax dollars that were allotted each case for enforcement. In fact, our director would say regularly, we aren't the friend of the family, we're the friend of the court.
I have been together for almost 31 years. We have a blended family. He has 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters, he had 2 sons. We always took care of our children. Get this, please listen. We have always taking care of our kids. He was divorced from his ex-wife in 1982. There was a child support judgment issued then. My husband at that time was giving her cash money. I know because I was there and I saw it. 2 years later, she decided she wanted to have a break from raising her boys. At that point in time, she brought her boys over to our house and she said she needed a break. They started staying with us at that time. So from that point on, she was not given any more cash money. We were taking care of the kids. They stayed there with us for 2 years totally. They went back home to stay with their mother after the 2 years, but we were always
My name is Marsha Maines. I'm here today to speak about Shafted Shadwell, a young boy at 16 who was pursued by a local sexual predator. There are soon to be men today who are sexual predators, but there are female sexual predators as well. She was 19, he was 16. For his 16th birthday, he was offered the opportunity to enjoy the wonders of her body, and he did, along with 6 other people. And when he turned 18 and he became of legal age, she decided that he needed to marry her because she was a good Southern Baptist girl and her daddy expected her to marry anyone that she brought home to meet the parents. He refused, and a couple of months later ended up becoming a father and was told that if he didn't marry her, she would do everything in her power to ruin his life forever. Here we are, almost 20 years later. He's on his 5th incarceration by the DCSC of Virginia. They have falsified documentations. She has submitted falsified information under oath and then testified in direct contradiction to those statements under oath.
Woman rapes child, woman gets pregnant, woman sues child for child support and wins. She's guaranteed money now for 18 years. You gotta love it. And of course she gets custody even though she's a known sex offender now. That's our family court system. You gotta love it. This lady named Jane Crane in Ohio, she was convicted of statutory rape. It's a felony. And she faces 18 months in jail and being on a sex offender list for 25 years. Pretty serious, right? She commits a felony, rapes this kid. Well, anyway, she gets pregnant, and now the kid, the courts, that's how fucked up they are, they ruled that he has to pay child support now for the next 18 years. So he's pretty much, because she raped him, you know, his life financially is pretty much fucked up because of her now. So, but the family, of course, ruled no, she gets it. And another interesting thing is he only gets to see his child 7 hours a week.
I did get pregnant on purpose, and I...
Wait, you didn't just do it on purpose. You did it on purpose and without somebody's knowledge.
Exactly. And,
well, here's the deal. It's not so much a matter of beating you over the head. Here's what I want to know. What made you think that was a good idea? Like, what made you think that would work out?
I was trying to save my relationship with this person. I had moved from Tucson up to Carson City, Nevada, and things weren't working out very well. I was very young. I was 22, I think, at the time, and I thought that basically it would make him make a commitment to me. His brother was getting married, and the girl that he was with, she was pregnant, and I guess I just, you know, I was in love with him. And I thought that, you know...
You thought that deceiving him would be a good way to keep him.
Right, and I you know...
I was being facetious, and you said, yes, right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're in love with somebody, why would you think that deceiving them would be a way to strengthen your relationship?
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. T-Mac, back for another drive time. Today's message: abolish forced child support, and the illegitimacy rate will drop dramatically. Now, women, before you get your panties in a wad, let me explain what I'm talking about. This does not include women who met, courted, and married a man and gave birth to his children. This is not about you. This is about the women who go out and have babies, fully expecting to get money from welfare, fully expecting the state to enforce men to pay child support.
Women increasingly have rights, especially as mothers. Men are decreasingly having rights. And there's an inequality there. Men, you unfortunately have pretty much zero rights. When it comes to child rearing, or whether or not you want to bring a child into the world, you really have very few options. Unfortunately, the men I've talked to, I wish this weren't the case, but when a woman tells you, I can't get pregnant, or she tells you, oh, I'm on birth control, you guys just believe her. It might be a one-night stand, it might be a short-term relationship, a long-term relationship. You just believe her. You just believe that A, she can't get pregnant, or B, she really is taking her birth control. Have you seen her take birth control every single day at the same time every day for a month straight? Have you really seen that? If not, you really can't know.
The reason I say, if we were to abolish forced child support, the illegitimacy rate would go down, is because we would remove the incentive that women have for having babies, which in most cases is a financial one. Secondly, it would give incentive to not have illegitimate children, because they would be full well aware of the fact that the government would not step in and make a man pay child support. Therefore, you would see marriages go
She's
up.
a known sex offender now, engaged in felonies, and the house she lives in, she lives with her stepfather. Her stepfather has been convicted of domestic violence, of trying to choke her sister. So it's like a real screwed up family, but she still wins custody. Could you imagine the outcry from the feminists if the roles were reversed, where an older age guy statutorily rapes a 15-year-old girl, she gets pregnant, he wins custody and she has to pay him child support for 18 years, oh man, they'd flip out on that. But this is exactly what